They're racing immediately. But a champion becomes a legend. Maccabi Diva wins it again.
Yes, yes, yes. Wins the Everest. Glen Boss wins another big one.
Hello once again, welcome to Who's the Boss? We're rolling in season 5. Adam Peacock here, Glen Boss there, Bossy. What a weekend of racing we saw. What another one we're going to see. Best time of year, footy grand finals. Congratulations, your Brisbane Broncos. Gloat now.
Yes, how good it to be in Queensland at the moment. We've got the women winning the footy, the AFL, and we top it off with what was an unbelievable grand final. Well done to Brisbane.
Yeah. How'd you celebrate, Bossy? Just punch in the air like a Queenslander?
Yeah, just did a few laps around around the living room and screamed my lungs out. But oh mate, it was one of the grand finals for the ages. It was so good to watch.
Absolutely. What'd you make of the racing last week? Just quickly before we get into the finer details.
Oh, the Turnbull Stakes was just an amazing race. All the good horses stood up. They all ran well. It painted a very clear picture going forward. Looks like Sir Delius has put his hand up and announced himself that he is the horse to beat through the whole spring, including the Cox Plate and this year's Melbourne Cup. Via Sistina, she has to find a little bit, but I think she will under a high-pressure Cox Plate. We'll see her at her best. And Antino still ran huge again. He's knocking on the door to win a major.
Yeah, and the Everest field is taking shape, and we're taking shape for the Everest as well, Bossy. Really big announcement. We're going to do a live show in the west of Sydney at the Woodstock Hotel. It's just opened out there at Rooty Hill. But, mate, you, myself, Jim Cassidy, I reckon, is coming along, and a few other extra guests. It's going to be quite the afternoon and evening out there. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing a live show, especially with a little pump so you can get the audience going. But, yeah, this will be a great venue and we should have a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone gets along and joins in the fun with us.
Yeah, it's all happening at the Woodstock. Now, the Woodstock Hotel is Rooty Hill's newest local legend. It's now open and you can search the Woodstock Hotel Rooty Hill to have a look at the opening specials as well and the entertainment that's happening. And I think our mugs will be there shortly with that live show happening next Wednesday. So save some of your best gear, Bossy. And I want your in-depth analysis and also story of how you won an Everest, because it's a special day building at Randwick in a couple of weeks' time.
I'll bring a few special trophies along with me so everyone can come and have a look at the trophies and hopefully have a really great day.
Yeah, check it out at the Woodstock. We're going to get right now to take the split. It's the firm opinion that you have. Now, everyone's had an opinion of this earlier in the week. Ka Ying Rising, the odds-on favourite for the Everest, had his first step out on Australian soil in a trial at Randwick. A damn good feel, this trial. It was as good as any race you'll probably see all for the entire spring. But Ka Ying Rising, his trial was what, Glen Boss?
It was a pass. That's about all, but you would like to see a $1.50 or $1.60 shot, I think he's something like that, going into the world's richest race on turf, trial better. But in saying that, that's just about his makeup. They trialled him there towards the outside fence at Randwick course proper. I spoke to Zach, 2 or 3 hours after the trial, and Zach's pretty, he doesn't mince words. He just tells you as it is. He said, yeah, he has to improve on what he done, but he said in saying that, he just got completely lost out there. He really had nothing to follow, and the turf was a little bit soft in the soft range, which he'd never really been on. All his runs in Hong Kong were on firm tracks. So he'll be looking for a kind of different ride, I'd say, in the Everest. I dare say he'll take a sit behind a horse like Overpass. He'll use that as the bunny, and if he gets a good track, he's still the horse to beat.
Yeah, when you say lost, so I noticed Zach in that trial, he kept wide, and I don't know, they must have ordered it knowing that a bit of hot weather's coming this week at Randwick. They've got to look after the track for the big day. Obviously, they're not looking after the track for a trial. But when you say lost, then even though he's a very experienced horse, what happens there, and how does the jockey get control again and all of that?
Yeah, well, the horse, they jumped out towards the outside fences, and he jumped brilliantly. He obviously left the gates, and he was a length in front after they went 20 metres. He pricked his ears because he's basically on the outside fence, and they're waiting for some instructions where to go next. That's where they get lost. So Zach kept him up to the mark, but listen, like I said, he's the world's best sprinter. He's going to be hard to beat, but not at those odds. I think Lady Shenandoah is still the horse to beat in this Everest. I don't know. I know she's a superstar, and she's out to some stupid odds. I'd rather take the good odds about her winning than some short odds about Cayenne Rising winning.
One thing I noticed on the weekend, though, Bossy, about the Everest, interested to see the Junior Hayes boys produce one at Flemington, and I think he ran a $1.06 down the straight. War Machine comes into the Everest now. What do you make of that? And taking on Dad as well.
Oh, it's great. It's great theatre. It'll be good for the papers and a few stories. I don't think War Machine can match motors with these horses, but he's a worthy. He deserves his place in the race. He's a Stradbroke winner. He's a very good horse over 1,200, 1,400 metres. I'm not saying I shouldn't say he can't win, but I can see him running in the top 5, but outside the top 3.
And Sir Delius, just a bit more on him. So is that the right approach? Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup with this horse. Don't worry about the Caulfield Cup.
Oh no, this is what gave. She's desperate. She's never won a Cox Plate. So she's desperate to win the Ladbrokes Cox Plate this year, and she's got the right horse to do it. And he's just looking better as he gets deeper into his preparation, this horse. He's travelling well in his races, and he's showing very good turn of speed, which is what you need to win a Cox Plate. And then after that, wow, he's going to be something to beat in the Melbourne Cup. He's like we alluded to last week when we said, Sir Dillis, he's a proper horse and he could be something special. I know I tipped Antino to beat him last week, but we got the Quinella anyway. But he's turned out to be Gay's real shining light for this spring. Absolutely.
And Via Sustina, quick one on her, the defending Ladbrokes Cox Plate winner, dominant winner last year. She looks okay. Like Chris Waller's still happy, but what do you reckon?
Well, when you see her get in races where they run very sedate, like the Mackay Diva, they just walked, and it's an absolute power home, sprint home. You see her, she's vulnerable. Then again, last week in the Turnbull Stakes, they didn't go any real gallop, and she was vulnerable again. The race shape's going to change in a Cox Plate. They go quick. There's always something going on, and that's where she'll come to a 4. So, you certainly couldn't drop off her yet. She's not winning, but she's not running bad all the same. So when she gets conditions to suit, and we know how good she was around last year's Moonee Valley at the Cox Plate, she just flew around there. So I don't think we'll see a repeat of that last year, that 7 lengths for op. We won't be seeing that because she's not going as well. But you don't have to be going that good to be winning this. I mean, when you're winning by 7 lengths, you don't have to lose much to win the Cox Plate again. But it's shaping as a Cox Plate for the ages.
Yeah, it's brilliant. The Everest looks great. The Cox Plate looks great. The Melbourne Cup's got some intrigue. The Caulfield Cup as well. So there's so many great storylines around the place in horse racing right now. And of course, when we're doing the form, we want to stay cool. We want to stay, at an even keel. And the best way to do that is AirTouch, airtouch.net.au for all your air conditioning needs. Bossy, it's humming up at your joint, I'd imagine, at the moment, this remote control air conditioning.
Mate, it's starting to get humid and hot in Queensland very quickly. I mean, it got hot once we started winning all these premierships and stuff. But,
yeah, good on you.
But, you need AirTouch right now because it's going to get hot real quick. And I think we're going to have a dry, hot summer. So we'll need plenty of people needing AirTouch. So if you haven't got one and your house is cooking, get onto AirTouch and cool yourself down.
Yeah, best way to handle your air conditioning, both in the hotter months with the cool and the reverse. It works all year round, of course, AirTouch. So hit them up, and they're great supporters of Who's the Boss. We're going to get into our special guest right now. I'll just do the quick throw, Bossy. Here he is, the great Mark Geyer, and this is a story and a half. The great man, MG, on Who's the Boss. Mark Geyer, hell, no one knows you as Mark Geyer. MG, great to see you, mate. How are you?
I'm awesome, Ad. I really am. Great to be here. I've been watching from afar the Great Man's podcast with you boys, and must say that it's exhilarating when I got the call to come on it here at these unbelievable stables here at Inglis at Warwick Farm. Could have been a better setting.
Your backyard as well. King of the West, this guy.
Yeah, King of the West.
Not far from. It's about 30 k's as the crow flies west. So it didn't take me long to get here.
But your web goes far and wide.
I'm the Spider-Man of the West. Yeah, Peter, Mark Parker.
How good,
mate? How's life these days?
Life is good. My first grandson was 1. last week, 23rd of September, when we were filming this. So it's a profound thing to have a grandson. You know, I've got 5 kids.
Yeah.
And the oldest boy, when he said he was pregnant with they were pregnant with their first kid, I kind of didn't know how to feel about it because
So when he said he was pregnant, that must have been
well,
a
yeah,
shock.
that's a first.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
if Arnold Schwarzenegger was any bloke who could have a baby. I kind of went, you know, wow. It's when my wife told me that we were pregnant with our first kid, it was a different emotion. Now that my kid is having a kid, I'm going, well, that's not only did it make me feel old, but it made me feel really pleased, and you know, I have a lot more respect for my son now that he's following in my footsteps. As you know, as far as that goes, it's a lot of pride.
And how does it feel to be like a grandfather though? Like, you know.
Yeah, it's what they say, Bossy. It's you know, they always say, wait. Well, before I had kids, everyone said, wait till you have a kid, you won't, you know, you'll love it. And, and I did that much that I had 5, and then people would say, wait till you have a grandkid, and they said, oh, you know, I said, yeah, I don't know when that's going to be. And the good thing about being a granddad is that you get all the love in the world for this little human, and you don't have to worry about having a monitor into their cot or wiping their, you know, changing their shitty ass or you know, here, dad, here, mum, and then papa. Because we had an argument, me and my wife. Not an argument. We had a chat about a month before the baby was born last year, and we're in the kitchen. And I said, "What are you going to be called?" And she goes, "Oh, just Nan or Nanny." I said, "Oh, that sounds old." Like, she goes, "What do you want to be called?" I said, "Papa." She goes, "What? Are you Italian or are you Spanish? Why Papa?" I said, "I don't know. It just sounds better than Pop."
Yeah.
I think Pop sounds old. So the same time we were talking about this, my daughter and a friend were upstairs, and they just started pissing themselves laughing. They go, "Oh, Papa!" And guess what? It's stuck.
It's Papa.
So I'm Papa.
You've
now.
won.
Oh, I love that.
I'm Papa.
Well, grandparency sounds like being a jockey. It's all care, no responsibility. You get on for the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about the garbage that goes on behind the
It's
scenes.
identical, actually. Yeah, just
identical.
have it back, and and it's their problem after that.
Well, wonder there's never been a horse called Grandkid.
Yeah,
Jump in on one.
jump in one. Yeah,
Here we are, English. Let's go.
let's go and buy one. Call it
Use
grandkid.
your money.
Hey, let's talk about grand finals because we're in the week after as we release this, after an NRL grand final. But you've been there on both sides of the equation and losing one and winning one. In the days after, how long does the regret go on? How long does the celebration go on?
It was really different. I had a different experience, Adam, because when in 1990 we made the grand final. It was the first time Penrith had been in the grand final. So the town went ballistic. You know, we had civic receptions, we had ticker tape parades, we had shirts made up, we had the keys to the city given to us, and we hadn't done anything. Like, well, you know, we partied like we'd won the comp.
Yeah. Detrimental, maybe.
Yeah, it was detrimental. Well, in hindsight, very detrimental because we went into camp on usually the grand final breakfast was on a Thursday before the Sunday. You know, so we'd go down. We went down to the region, I think it was, on the Wednesday night. We're all in the foyer, and Gus Gould goes. Our coach says, "Okay, boys, you know, because we used to have a few beers through the week, you know." After training on Tuesday, after training on Thursday, we'd have a couple of schooners, go home. He said, "Right, boys, go to your room and have a couple. You know, we've got grand final breakfast tomorrow, so we want, you know, everyone to be ready and look at these Raiders across the room and make sure that we're stoic." And yep, sweet. As soon as he left the room, someone said, "Whose room are we going to?" You can take Penrith out of the boys out of Penrith, but you can't take Penrith out of the boy. So as soon as Gus walked up the stairs, we went to Barry Walker's or Kyle Bentley's room, and we started ordering. He looked at the menu, he goes, "What's this Dom Perry stuff? Like $1,000 a bottle." Yeah, let's get 3 of them. And then we had all the seafood platters worth, you know, $500 on it. The waiters brought in with these 3 trays, and we were going, "What?" And all our girls were on Kentucky tours overseas, so we're ringing reverse charges from the hotel phone. Anyway, drinking and, you know, listening to music and eating, and about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, there was a big knock on the door. And we said to our winger, Paul Smith, "Smitty, have a look who it is. You know, it might be more champagne." He looked through the peephole and he goes, "It's Gus." And we all froze. We went, "Fuck." Turned the music down, jumped over lounges. I hid behind a pot plant.
Smart. Big pop plant.
So Gus has walked in. And he goes, "Right, I can see you. I know who's here." He said, "I just want to tell you one thing. You just lost the grand final." We went, "Wow, really?"
Wow.
So he went to close the door, turned the music up and kept going.
Did he say it with a bit of venom? Like it was
He
like...
said it like he knew. He'd won a comp 2 years earlier with Canterbury at 28 or 29. He was coach.
Yeah.
Like this is a guy with the best football brain I've ever seen in my life. So
No
he
doubt.
knew. Well, history will tell you that he got it right because we got beaten that grand final by Canberra and 18-14 or something it was. And to answer your question how different it was, we were very lucky because the Kangaroo Tour was announced immediately after that grand final. And I was told that it was there was 28 taken away in the Kangaroo Tour. For 3 months, you go to England and Europe, which is the best trip ever. And I was told before the game that it was out of me and Gary Coyne from the Raiders, whoever won the comp, that you're going on the Kangaroo Tour. So when we got beaten in the grand final, I thought, there goes my ticket to England and France. So we went back to the club and commiserated, and over the big PA they said, "Just attention everyone, we're just going to announce the 4 players from Penrith who made their way through the Kangaroo Tour." They said Greg Alexander, John Cartwright, Brad Fittler and Mark Geyer. I went, whoa, I made it. So that was, you didn't have time to mourn the grand final, if you know what I mean. You didn't have time to feel sorry for yourself because that shocking news that we just had. And I was that guy who used to watch grand finals and see blokes on the field after the game crying, going, it's a game, mate. What are you doing? Don't be crying like that. And I was that guy in 1990. I was there and I couldn't hold back the tears. I was bawling my eyes out. And we got the opportunity the next year to do it all again, and we did, and this time it was a different story.
Can I ask a question now? So I'm figuring that deep into your preparation, you were just before the grand final, you're as fit as, you're hard as nails, right? Like, I'm thinking a couple of hours having a drinking session, eating some seafood. How does that stop you, or does that stop you winning a grand final? Like, honestly, I don't think how that could affect you.
No, we didn't either because I suppose.
So what was?
Well, it's so hard, Bossy, to get to. It's so hard to get to a grand final, and some of the best players in our game have never won one, let alone never been to one.
Yeah.
And here we were, these lads from Penrith, thinking
celebrating like you already won it.
Celebrating like what are we?
Yeah,
what are you drinking piss? Even though it was 3-4 nights before the game, what are we doing? What gives us the right to be doing this? When the coach said, "Go to your room," and so we erred. We were in the wrong big time. So, but come around the next year, we went on the Kangaroo Tour.
How was that, by the way?
That was epic. Like poor Brad Fittler. Like Brad Fittler was 18. That's him now locked up.
Yeah.
Still locked in that cage, Freddie. Yeah, so he was 18 and we went away and he came back 104 kilo. Like
What did he go away? 90?
We were in the reserve grade. Like with
the Emus.
The Emus. So we never played weekends. But we'd play on a Wednesday night, drink Wednesday night, drink Thursday night, train Friday, drink Friday night, train Saturday, drink Saturday night. Sunday we were the gear steward and each player had not a slave, but
like a role to play with the with the Kangaroos.
So if I say you're blocker, I'd say blocker. You want anything? He goes, go get me some tape. I need some tape from your boots. I need some Basso, and I need some Vicks to clean me. So I had to go get all that. I was this duty boy. I had to carry his bag into the stadium, and that was so. And then we'd watch that game, go out with them on the drink, and then Monday and Tuesday stay off it, and then play Wednesday. So. That was for 3 months.
Yeah, wow.
So it was just
good times.
It was the best time.
Because you don't have any real responsibility because you're not playing for Australia. Like you're playing.
Well, we were playing for Australia, but we kind of weren't.
Yeah,
we're the second team.
How old were you then?
22.
Oh yeah.
22.
Best time of your life.
Yeah, best time of my life.
A fully paid for holiday.
Fully paid for.
Playing rugby
I
league.
used to get like £300 a week.
Yeah.
And that usually they
long
were gone in
that
2 days. And then the first weeks we were there, the emus, there was, and let's not forget, back in the day, right? There was no Foxtel that showed every game.
Yeah.
You know, that then comes into about 1995, I think, when the expansion happened. So back then there was no, like each week we wouldn't get it. We'd hear about this guy in Canberra called Bradley Clyde or Laurie Daly, or this kid up at Brisbane called Langer, or Hancock, or this other bloke over at Manly called Gillespie, or Dogs, whoever they were, because we'd hear about them. You wouldn't see them physically on TV because it was only the match of the day on a Friday or then on a Sunday TV game, and you didn't have as much coverage, and obviously there wasn't as many podcasts and
No phones.
phones, everything was different. So you just hear about this mythological creature, and all of a sudden you're touring with them.
Yeah.
And that kind of broke down a lot of barriers, because we saw for ourselves as Penrith players, the four of us who went away after losing a comp, we saw that Blocker and Ciro from Balmain, they get upset when they miss their family. The Brisbane boys are cheeky little bastards, but they're missing their home as well. So it kind of broke down that, because being from Penrith, it was always us out there, that team all the way out there, because now it takes 40 minutes anywhere in Sydney to get anywhere. Let's take 2 hours from the city to Penrith. And we're this team right out there. So we had, a little respect before we made the comp, before we got to the grand final. Then when we won the comp the next year, well, that was because we toured, we come back and we changed our jerseys. The grand final, it was exactly the same score at half time. It was 12-6. We were down against Canberra, same team. But this time it was different because Roy Simmons was leaving. And even though Brandi was the captain at half time.
Alexander, yep, your brother-in-law.
Yeah, my brother-in-law. At half time, Roy said to Phil Good and Brandy, he said, "Can I say something to the team?" And they go, "Yeah." So he got up and said, "Boys, I don't want it to end like this. I can feel it. It's going. All I'm going to be remembered for is that guy who was in his last game got beaten in the grand final."
Geez, that must have hit home, that one.
Oh, we start crying.
Yeah.
Run back out in the field. Then 15 minutes in the second half, I get sin bin.
What'd you do?
I just called a touch judge a cheat.
Yeah.
Well, you
called him out. You called him out.
Mate. Like, come on. No, it's a funny story to it, because it's Martin Weeks, and Martin, we used to have him call him the nickname TV Weeks. Because every time it was a TV game, he'd come up with his flag. So he would say, "Oh, there's TV Weeks." But he was a very good official, and they were coming out of their own end. Paul Clark tackled one of the Raiders players, and dislodged the ball. And Paul Smith picked it up, scored in the corner. And looking at the replay, it was a perfectly good try. He said, "No." He hit him in high in the head, and penalty to Canberra. And I said, "You're a cheat. You don't want us to win."
Wow.
He come on with his flag. And I went, "Oh, yeah." I didn't even say 2 weeks in. I just said, "Oh, I'm in trouble." And he went to Billy Harrigan. He said, "Mate, he just called me a cheat." And Billy went, "Go."
10?
I thought it was off.
Oh.
I went, "No, in the grand final, I'm off." He said 10 minutes.
Oh.
So what stage into the second half was that, though?
That was about 15 minutes into the second half.
Oh, so yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's crucial.
But it ended well. Did you think after, and the famous scene of you jumping over Royce when they scored that try in the corner, everyone's going Burko, and the celebrations that followed. But as a young bloke then, so you're 23. I know, you're mid-20s by now.
I was 23.
23.
Yep.
So are you thinking, okay, we've probably got about 7 to 10 years of playing footy left. I'm going to win 3 or 4 of these.
Everyone does. Yeah.
I'm invincible.
Yeah. Everyone thinks that. I mean, it's well, you are. You win a comp and you're on top of the world because you've done what so little men in your game have done. It's the hardest thing to do. It's why you start training in October. It's why you pull on the boots when you're a young kid to win a comp. And some of the best players, as I said, that Balmain team of 1989, some of the best players we've ever seen in the game, and they've never won a comp. And the Sharky players with ET and McGaw and the likes, but then it wasn't to be. The dynasty was now, not then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it opens up all the doors. Origins, then you play for Australia, like winning the comps.
Oh, well,
It's a massive accomplishment. Not only just winning the comp, but what happens after
Well,
it.
so I think for me personally, Bossy, I think I put that on a pedestal because it's with your mates.
Yes, yeah.
When if you make a rep team, it's because your mates have helped you make that, and it's an individual accolade.
Yep.
Only 2 or 3 of you might make Origin or play for Australia. On that Kangaroo Tour, I actually made my Australian debut in a little town called Avignon, in front of about 300 people against the French. And I stood there listening to the national anthem with the jersey on, and I said, "Wow, I've done it. I've represented my country." And this tears started pouring down, and we won. And but I think Origin is the hardest version of our game.
Yep.
On your body and physically and mentally and how fast it goes. But to win a comp after losing one the year before and to be given another chance the year after was divine.
Yeah, because if you lose one, you're thinking this might not happen.
Well, I thought I saw Blocker Roach the other day say something about it in 1989, like someone like Tim Brasher. Tim Brasher was 19 in that grand final, and you're thinking, well, there's Brasher, one of the best young up-and-coming players of our game, who went on to play for New South Wales and Australia, but never even got to another grand final.
Yeah, it's incredible.
In all his career.
So how it happens.
The fact that we'd done that in 1990 and Gus got so angry was for a reason.
Yeah.
He knew that we stuffed up.
You were known on the field as sometimes the emotions boiled over, but that was part of your makeup. That was part of your DNA. You were an enforcer, all of that. But your brother-in-law, Greg Alexander, who's a few years your senior, tells the great story of how he'd noticed when you were the volcano was about to
erupt.
Yeah. And it was the right hand started going like that. Did you know that you had that trigger? Did you feel something inside when you were like, okay, I'm struggling to hold on to it here?
Oh, it was so surreal because I was always a pretty placid player as a young bloke. Like, I never really knew, I wasn't aggressive up until I was probably 16, and then I the testosterone kicked in, and I grew. I went from 5'9" to 6'5" in one off season.
Oh wow!
And my mum bought the cricket whites out because obviously back then all we did was play cricket in the summer and rugby league in the winter.
Nothing fit.
And it was up here. She goes, "Babe, I think you've grown." I said, "Oh, really, Mum?" Yes. Yeah, she couldn't believe it. And, my mum's 16 years old. Like, she's one of my best mates. Yeah, when your mum has you when she's 16 and Dad's 19. They're kind of like
grow up
brother
together.
And sisters.
Yeah.
So I was never that anger until I went to a trial. I went to a trial game once for trial for Jersey flegg, and they got my name wrong. They called me Nick Geyer or Nick Geyer, the trainer, and said number 17 for the possibles is Nick Geyer or Nick Geyer, and threw me a jersey. And I went, oh, geez, doesn't, And then about 5 minutes to go in the trial, I still hadn't got a run, and we're getting our ass kicked by the team that was going to be the probables. And the same bloke said, Nick, you're on. I said, mate, it's Mark. He said, whatever. And I went on, and I looked around. Mum was with me, and she was crying. I said, Mum, what are you crying for? She said, they don't know your name, babe. How are you going to make the team? And that was the moment.
So you went out there and just showed them.
Well, I didn't know I never knew what a sliding door moment was until we saw that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
But I kind of said to myself, well, this is it. This is kind of
Something clicked.
Yeah, and then it was the first time I felt blood go up my spine, and like I felt like how the Hulk would feel.
Yeah.
When he turns green, because I just went misty.
Yeah.
I just wanted to punch the shit out of the manager for getting my name wrong. Yeah. And then I wanted to punch shit out of whoever was going to run the ball at me. So,
and what happened?
And what I did, I made 2 tackles, knocked 2 blokes out.
Yeah. Legitimately.
No, shoulder charge. Well,
Okay,
you could
fair
back then.
enough. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you could.
It wasn't like a
no,
or an elbow to the face.
It was my weapon of choice. It was the shoulder charge.
Wow.
And then as
You
I was
turned
walking,
into John Rambo, basically.
Yeah.
they blew first blood. And as I was walking back to the car, Mum's like still crying. I said, Mum, what are you crying for? She goes, oh, I'm so proud of you. I said, just knock 2 kids out. She goes, oh. Anyway, I said, mate, Mum, look, someone's... And I could notice out of the corner of my eye, Tim Sheens was at the ground at the game. He was first grade coach at Penrith at that time.
Yeah.
And he's walked over to me and Mum to greet us. And as I was putting my car in the boot, he said, Mrs. Geyer. And I said, he knows our name. I said, you know my name? He said, yeah, Mark. I said, yeah. But he said, I've been watching you for a couple of years. And he said, how would you like to play under 23s next year? So I went from 16 to 17 that December, then played under 23s for the whole year off the bench and just what an apprenticeship.
How was that though, being a 17 and walking into the sheds of the men?
Well, and back then too, Bossy, is that you'd get a lot of first graders coming back through under 23s who were injured.
Yes.
They had that avenue because then it went to under 20s, which I think was too low. So if you're a first grader who's 19, 20, 21, 22, and you're out for injured for a period of time,
Yep.
you're coming back through under 23s to get some game time.
Yeah.
And you're playing so I'm playing against blokes like Chris Walsh against Dragons, and when I'm 17, against playing these 23-year-old men. And it was just the best apprenticeship you could ever have.
Yeah.
And I loved my time in. Graham Murray was, and the next year we made it to the under 23s grand final. We got beat by South, and then the year later we won the reserve grade grand final.
Yeah.
With Graham Murray.
But Bossy, everyone has that moment, I'm guessing, when in professional sport when you're making it.
Yeah.
Did you have something like that early in your career? That moment that MG just describes
heaps,
in terms of it was
heaps of those.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is my chance
But
because now
like-
I've got a
like
ride in a
we-
big race or.
Yeah, I was of that opinion, like we spoke, Mark, before. When one door closed, I'd always instinctively know another 2 or 3 doors would open. And then what path do I choose then after that? I was never ever concerned about, oh shit, things went wrong, the door closed, and sook up. I went, my vision and my whole psyche and everything I had in me went towards, okay, where's the next door going to open? Because something will open. And then I went that way, So...
That's good foresight.
and I had a lot of that happen throughout my personal life and my actual job career. So, but I just love that. I would love that story. Like, that's one of the best stories I've heard for a long
I wish there
time.
was a video of it.
Oh no, but I can imagine 17, 18-year-old kid
Yeah.
16,
16, scrawny.
And it was the first time I remember. It was that first year I was playing for St Mary's. I used to be a 5'8" all the time, and then Jamie Jones, who still has something to do with Penrith as a development officer, he was the coach. He played for Penrith at the time, and he was the coach at St Mary's. He said, "Where do you play, big fella?" And I said, 5'8". He goes, "Oh, what, a 6'5", 5'8"? Come on."
Yeah.
He goes, "You're going to play second row." I said, "I've never played there before." He said, "Well, get some shoulder pads and in you go." So there was a story done on me when I made my first grade debut when I was 19, and Daniel Lane did it, and he ended up writing my book. I wrote a book. Jeez.
Well, he wrote it.
Well, I was in a bad place at the time.
You talked.
I spoke or dictated. And I spoke about the shoulder pads. I had to borrow shoulder pads from my cousin just to wear into this game, and they made a big thing of it, in Rugby League week. But yeah, I borrowed shoulder pads, and as soon as I put these shoulder pads on, it was like putting my cape on.
Yeah.
I just felt stronger, tougher, and invincible.
Hey, I'm interested in the mix of the grandfather that you are, the king of the West, Mr. Lovable, always got time for everyone, smile on your face most of the time. But then, during your career, you had these ups and these violent downs as well. Mid-career, you're playing for U Minor in 1994 before you go to Perth, and you look back at some of your highlights and there's some good stuff in there, but there's some stuff where you're just maiming people. I mean, where did it turn for you that you became this kind of almost statesman-like figure once retirement, but during the playing days it was a little bit
That's
different?
a very good question, Adam. It's one that no one's ever asked me before because it's something that I haven't really thought about. I think I was very tumultuous as a player because I wore my heart on my sleeve. And when, at a young age, I was told by my coach, Ron Willie, who was from the old school, I was told at 19 that I want you to be the bloke in our team that no one wants to run at.
Yeah.
And so you kind of take that into every whole walk of life. Like you go off the field and there's no switch. So I go to the club and, you know, we might have got beaten and there's a group of blokes and you can see that you can say to your mates, give it 2 hours and then there's going to be something happen with that group. You can just feel it. You just know it's going to happen.
Yep.
And I was never one to go, let's leave. I'd say, let's wait till they fucking bring it on.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
a release
that's
for
how
you.
it was.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's the worst advice now you could give to someone, but that's how it was. And that's how life was. And I got into a lot of, you know, had a few assault charges and stuff like that. But it wasn't until, I think, when I was playing at minor, and my wife who, you know, I was kind of up there 3 or 4 days a week, coming back to Penrith, you know, I went from winning a comp and playing for my state and country to playing for your minor, with no disrespect to your minor, because, you know, my uncle was up there, but I shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
You should have been playing first grade.
I should have been first grade, yeah, of course. And my wife rang me to say that we're pregnant with our first kid, you know, so get your ass down here and check out this ultrasound or start with your minor. And, you know, so I went to the ultrasound and I remember the doctor put the little thing on my wife's stomach and I looked up to the monitor and he said, that's your baby's heartbeat. And I just fell to the ground and just bawled for about 10 minutes and just said, wow. And that was it. We went to Perth, Western Reds for
the
3 years.
Reds.
That was fantastic over there. What a ride that was. Had 2 kids over there and then they, like, before we get comfortable in our Perth abode, Super League come knocking, you know, and I think it was the 3rd game of the season and our hierarchy, our football manager said, we're going to this new
breakaway.
New breakaway.
Yeah.
1995.
We're doing it, we're going with it. And I went, wow, we just got comfortable, you know. And anyway, I said, how's it work? And they said, well, at the moment, we've got to pay for every away team's accommodation and flights. So we're almost broke, which now that wouldn't happen with the current NRL.
Yeah.
It would never happen. That's why we're seeing a Perth team come back. So they said those who want to align themselves with Super League, you got to meet at the Sheraton at midnight. It was very covert. At midnight on Sunday night after the game against Sharks. So there was probably 80% of us who aligned ourselves with Super League. The other 10%, like the Brad Mackays, and they flew back and joined the ARL ranks. And I remember I was on $180,000 for 3 years to sign with the Western Reds. Gordon Allen and Peter Mulholland come knocking when I was at Tigers in '93 and said, I'm going to be the coach. Peter Mulholland said, and this is going to be our CEO. We want you and Brad Mackay as our first 2 signings. And I went, yep, what's the figures? And they said 180 grand for 3 years. I said, done. So, like I was on about, I think I was at 100 at the time at Tigers.
So decent coin back then. Yeah.
Great coin back then. Probably equivalent to maybe 600 now, 650 now. So I went over there, and as I said, 3 weeks into the competition, the Super League guys come knocking. It was kind of like in order. Like I realised that I was one of the last to go in and talk to them.
Yeah.
One of the first to jump in was a young guy who was on the bench for our reserve grade team called Eamon Edgar, who would have been on, I don't know, 15,000 a year. He's come out and almost doing cartwheels. Like he'd won lotto. I'm saying, what? He's going, I've just got 150 grand a year for 3 years.
They put another 0 on his contract.
I said, what? Eamon, like, no disrespect to Eamon, like, he hadn't played first grade. So then we went, okay, this is what's going on.
Because you were naming your figure at that.
We're naming
that's
our
what I
figure.
said. Yeah, they were naming their own.
They were naming their own figure. And what we're hearing, because my Brandy, my brother-in-law, was in New Zealand, they went there first. Yeah. And they're 2 hours in front of us. Like, so I was getting...
time difference has helped here.
We had faxes. We had fax machines that put in our house, and they would send a deal, an offer. Then I'd send back to Brandy, what do you reckon? He goes, no, ask for another 50 grand. So I ended up asking, I think, for 450, 550, 650.
Yeah.
For 3 years. Yeah. Plus 50K signing on.
Yeah.
Brandy said, no, go 200 sign on. I went, what? So I everything I asked for, I got.
Wow.
I went from playing for your minor, running out in between the reserve grade Guard of Honour, getting someone hand me a summons because I wasn't paying bills, to buying a house on the beach with 2 jet skis, his and hers, riding them once, because I could. Because I could. I mean,
amazing.
hey, what Super League? Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it saved my life. Like, I was in that much debt. Like, from 92, 93, 94, I didn't play, and I still had bills. I bought a house for my mum and dad. I bought a house for me, but I couldn't pay them off.
Yeah.
So Super League came along at the right time of my life, and then they folded in 97, and we heard this new team called Melbourne was coming in, and they wanted most of the Reds, the Western Reds team.
Yep.
But they didn't want me. So I had to ring. I burned a lot of bridges when I left Penrith in 92. So I rang Royce back. Roy Simmons now. This is how the world turns, Bossy. This is the guy who scores 2 tries in the grand final, who probably should have got me out of the match. He's now the coach of Penrith. And now I'm grovelling to him to get back to the place that I want to be at.
Yeah.
And he said, mate, you've got to build a few more bridges. And I said, of course, whatever I've got to do.
Yeah.
So I agreed to all the terms and went back, and I had 3 of the most enjoyable years of my career. I was now a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've skinned your knees, your elbows, you've had a school of hard knocks. So you're actually coming from a real experienced place. Like, you're not just standing up in front of young lads and preaching something that you hadn't lived. You've walked it. So you're looking at someone who's lived and breathed shit, and I'm coming out the other side. So that's a respect thing, right?
I do a lot of that. I do a lot of, go to juvenile homes and stuff and preach to them. Not preach to them, it's the wrong word.
No.
Chat to them about the fork in the road, which is real. Like, I think I can name 50 kids I played junior footy against who are all better rugby league players than me. But that fork in the road come, and they went there, and I went there.
Amazing. How do you get it across to your kids as well? I'm interested in this. We're dads too, about your kids. I mean, it's all readily available.
I tell them not to Google me.
Don't Google me. Yeah. I know a few people like that.
Too late.
But in all honesty, like, there's that thing that we all face as a parent is how much rope do you give them to make their own mistakes, but when do you jump in? Like,
my wife has been the rock of our family, and I'm not going to be egotistical here, but I'm a good dad. Like, I'm a fair dad. I've got 3 daughters and 2 sons, and I think I see the softer side of me with my kids because I love them so much.
Especially the girls.
Well, I know they're going to be longer. They're going to be around longer than to look after me when I'm older. The boys are going to see old man. But,
haters.
But it's a big responsibility being a dad. And
I think a parent.
Yes, as a parent.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's something that I had to, come to terms with. And now, as a dad, I just say that whatever makes you happy, because I've had one of my best mates pass away, 8 weeks ago at 50.
Wow.
With a heart attack, 5 kids.
Like that.
And that kind of that real drives home to me just how life is. We're here. We've got to make the most of what we do. Try not to hurt any and tread on any toes along the way, which is hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard, but make the most of it. And I tell my kids that, like, if you're not doing something that doesn't make you happy, get out of it.
Yeah, I was 100% right. I did a speaking engagement only about 3 weeks ago with Wayne Bennett, and Benny, he's an incredible speaker. Like, he got up. He's such an incredible human being to be around, and he got up and spoke about when it wasn't so much about footy. He's talking about life, and he said we're getting it wrong as parents. we're not parenting our kids anymore. We're leaving that job to the teachers and that. He said, you've got to be parents. You've got to let them skin their knees. You've got to be tough on them. You've actually got to be a parent. Don't go mollycoddle them when they're home and let someone else do the parenting for you, because we're breeding a generation of young kids who've got no idea, no skills, no life skills. Because as a parent, you've got to tread that fine line of being hard enough, but you've got to let them have fun at the same time. It's a tricky...
Well, because I'm a big bloke, I think if I get angry with my kids, they're going to take it the wrong way and think I'm going to be looking like this big ogre. Especially the girls when they bring boyfriends home.
Yeah.
And, early on was funny.
I wouldn't be that kid.
Well, early on was funny because when my oldest daughter, who now is 29, when she was 16, 17, and she'd bring a boyfriend home, I'd like do 50 push-ups and sit-ups and then as he'd open the door, I'd be behind my daughter going, yeah, mate? Like, pumped up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And then shake his hand, go, come in. Because I trust my kids to pick the right person, and I think that we've, as parents, have showed how much we love each other. We've been together, me and Megan have been together 40 years next year.
Yeah, well done.
We met when we were 17. So, been married 33 years in October, the end of this month. So it's we know what works and what doesn't, because we've walked a mile in everyone's shoes while being in the spotlight. Yeah. And it's sometimes it's very hard to do stuff that you want to do because of prying eyes. But if you worry too much about them prying eyes, or you're not living the life you should. So
what about out of the spotlight now, though? It's life after footy and all that stuff.
It's different. No, look, I'm in Penrith, where I'm pretty well known, but I don't go out much. I'm a homebody. I love inviting people to my house. I love my mates to come over there. I love having my kids know that they can bring their friends over to my house and sit around the pool and put the music on and have a beer and watch the races and all that type of stuff.
Get the jet skis out. Get the jet skis out.
Hers.
What about this new project?
On the Nepean there.
Oh, the Pondi.
Yeah.
I go to Pondi now.
Pondi. What about this new project you're on, your podcast, which I've watched it and I love it.
We're going to be on it soon.
Yeah, I know, but where did this? We spoke earlier, but where did this come from? 5 photos, because it's intriguing for me, because when I was watching your podcast, I started thinking about my journey and what would I bring? And then you start going down this rabbit burrow thinking, what was important in the stages, like sliding moments, things that happened through your life. So I was going down this thinking, Jesus Christ, and all of a sudden I'm up to about 10.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking, how do I narrow it down? So
especially when
where this idea come for this?
Well, when I was at Triple M for 20 years, and I found last year.
Friendly departure?
Oh,
no,
not really, because of the way they did it, the management. I've got no beef with the talent. The people I used to work with, they're still mates, and but some management in every business leaves a lot to be desired. How they terminate things, and the way they did me at Triple M was just not on. I was there for 20 years. Yeah. And the breakfast show I was on with Mick Malloy, he was going back to Melbourne, so I knew that my role would change, and I thought it was going to be more in the rugby league landscape and maybe do something else, through the week. And one of the execs said, look, this is what we want to do for you, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'll call you next week, and didn't call me. A week later, still went on, and I was thinking, well, if they don't want me, things are starting to dry up outside of that, because opportunities don't come along in life that often that you can take at our age that are going to secure you for the next 20 years of your life. So I woke up one morning to go to the gym MG Active that we've got in Penrith, and in my inbox there was an email from the executive from Melbourne saying that basically we, thanks but no thanks. Yeah. And that was how I found out. And, I didn't try to ring him. I thought, no, stuff it. I just, I was angry. So about 2 weeks later, I'm sitting out by the pool with my wife, and I don't know where I was, maybe filling up our wine glasses or
the jet ski,
or on the jet ski, cleaning that. Or, by the way, the jet skis lasted 1 month until we sold them. Yeah, got half price for them.
Yeah, well, hey, that one ride was worth it.
It was worth everything. Yeah. So I was just going through I was going through my phone because my idea was to over the 2009 I started on Brekkie Radio, so 12, 13, 14 years I was on Brekkie Radio. I met some really interesting people, like from the Spice Girls to Hulk Hogan to some of the international guests that come into our studio were unbelievable. And I was going to do a book, I thought of Kramer from Seinfeld. The coffee table. And I was just going to write, a photo of me and them, because I used to always take selfies with them when they come in. And I was just going to write, a little paragraph on each, and then give them a rating on affability and friendliness. And, I might still do it, I don't know.
Rate them as humans.
I think you should.
Rate them as humans. And then my phone rang, and my wife said, I said, just answer that, and it was one of my mates. I said, I'll ring you back. And she's looking through my phone. She goes, what about these people you've met along the way? I said, you know what, that'd be a good idea for a book or a podcast. And she goes, how would you do a podcast on photos? I said, well, these days everything's videotaped. And if the person can explain what the photo is like I want them to, well, then you're walking along, you're picturing, the person listening to the podcast is already picturing the photo as well. So it can create it's like reading a book. I've always got the main man or the main woman in my picture, how I think that is. So if you're not watching this on my podcast and you're listening to it, you got something else made up. So, so I'm November, mid-November, you've
I can't wait.
In. So
so
start looking.
What's it called?
MG Life in 5.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No, it's honestly, it's great.
But I didn't come on your podcast to plug mine.
No, but I was interested because I watched it, and it was a fascinating watch, because it's fascinating to watch someone else talk about their life through the picture, and then, like you say, when I started going through my rabbit warren, you can see them actually doing it themselves, because they're just remembering, getting emotional.
I've had a few guests who have said that I'm having real dramas with this.
Yeah.
To narrow it down to 5.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
You work, because you've got family, friends.
A lot of things happening in a lifetime, right?
Yeah, like significant moments that happen in life.
The boss you're trying to suck up to at that time. So anyway, we've got to be our own boss, MG, and you've done it well. Mate, really appreciate you coming on Who's the Boss. Good luck with the podcast. We'll check it out, especially with Bossy, and take it easy, mate.
Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Mate, you're a star, brother.
Great,
I can't wait to do this in November. I can't wait.
Thank you, brother.
5 photos.
Bossy, that wasn't a chat with a footy player. That was a chat with a bloke who has lived a life and a half with all the ups and downs. A really interesting character, MG, and just a lovable big unit.
Mate, the man is skinny. He's taken off his elbows and knees throughout his career, this bloke. There's been some ups and downs, like you say. But through it all, he's come out the other side, and he's an absolute gentleman. He's the type of guy you'd love to go and have a 3 or 4 hour lunch with and just talk about life and ups and downs, because I think you'll get a real honest, strong answer from him, man, which I love.
Absolutely. Speaking of ups and downs, we just want the ups. We don't want the downs when it gets to Everest Day, when it gets to the Cup Carnival. But one thing you'll be assured of if you go down this path with IPE events is you'll be looked after, and there won't be too many downs about the day. Even if you lose a couple of dollars on the horses, you're going to have a great day, full stop, Bossy. IPEvents.com.au is the place to go. This is them. Some big sporting events they go to and put on a great show, really looked after. You'll be front and centre for all these great race days coming up, including Everest. You've got your tips at the ready, your stories at the ready, and it's all part of the package there for IPE events. Yeah, you get treated like kings and queens. With Everest fast approaching, I'd get on the website, IPE events, and see if you can get a seat. If you don't, listen, we go straight to the 4 days at Flemington, and that's huge. So if you want to be treated to an absolute great day, great entertainment and great racing, in a great food, everything's awesome. So if you miss out Everest, look at the 4 days at Flemington, you'll have a ball. Absolutely. I'm going to put this on. I'm not having a great hair day, Bossy, so I'm going to put the IP cap on, mate. There you go. Look better already. I'm running out of good hair days, just quickly. So, yeah. What about mine? Your tip. Yeah, exactly. So, this weekend, let's get into it right now. Let's have a look at some of the Group 1s that are coming our way at Caulfield. Bossy's best. So the focal point will be Melbourne this week with 3 big Group 1s, which we're all looking forward to. The Might and Power doesn't have the biggest field. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll also get to the Toorak over the mile. Bossy, Caulfield Guineas, always a career-defining race, especially for a colt if it wins it. Which way are you going in this one over the mile?
Yeah, I'm going for a very good colt called Woderton. I know people look at him and he's looking like he just wants to run second or third, but his form's outstanding. He's run second in the Slipper, ran second in the San Domenico, he ran fourth in the Run to Roses, and ran a very good second in the Golden Rose at track record time. He's got J-Mac, Chris Waller. They know how to get this job done. He's got the form to win the race. He should be running the mile out very strong. He's got barrier 10, but if the emergencies don't get a run, he comes into barrier 8. That's no big deal. I thought Autumn Boy from barrier 1, he has to turn the tables. He was horrible last start, but he's a better horse than that. He was second up last start, so maybe that had something to do with it. Vinrock will run well after he missed a start at Moonee Valley and had no chance last start. Look at him to bounce back. And there's a big one to watch here. It's called High Vol.
Yep.
Nick Ryan trains. He's drawn barrier 16. Watch this horse from a Derby point of view. I don't think he can win this race. I'd be shocked if he did, but he's a very, very good horse going towards the Derby, so big watch on him.
Yeah, you can see the progression through the runs it had so far. It's obviously building for something, and maybe this one's a bit short, but over the distance, high vol for Nick Ryan. Let's get out to the 2,000 metres and the Might and Power Stakes, and this is weight for age racing, isn't it? A field of 5.
A field of 5, and this is interesting. It's going to become we've got some great jockeys here with great brains, and it's going to be so much tactics. Globe will lead with Blake Shin, and it'll be interesting to see what Blake does. Blake can do anything. He's that type of jockey. With I think Treasure of the Moment will sit handy to Globe and probably just pick it off whenever it wants. And Buckaroo, watch it going forward. I still think he's a contender in this year's Melbourne Cup. So it's a very big fork in the road moment for Treasure of the Moment after she got beaten last start behind Pride of Jenny. But we all know that she had a bit of an illness going into that race. She would have had a week off, so that's the race she really needed to bring her on. If she's back to her best, she just beats these for fun. So big watch on Treasure of the Moment, and I think Buckaroo going forward, watch him.
So that happens a bit, does it, Bossy? You know that on race day when you sit on a horse that you like, even if it misses 2 or 3 days of track work, you can just feel it's missing just a tiny little bit, which at this level means absolutely everything.
Oh yeah, listen, when you get to this level, there's not many places to hide. You need everything going your way because you're not winning by big stretches like Winks does. Like, these are not that good. They're getting good runs, having great preps, and they're only just winning. So if you have a little bit of a hiccup or a miss, something goes wrong mid-prep, obviously you have to pivot and go another way, which they did with Treasure of the Moment, and they had to go to the Might and Power. Instead of last week, she would have run in the Turnbull Stakes and had a beautiful prep. But they've had to pivot, go to the Might and Power. It's a good option. Like you said, it's a 5-horse field. She should just be winning this for fun.
And Bossy, we get to the Toorak handicap, another Group 1. Now, usually with these big handicaps over the mile, you get a full field. This is not a full field. It's 11 at the time of recording this. However, get the darts out, get the dartboard out and chuck something there to try and find the winner, in my opinion. It's $4.50 the field. Can you make light of it?
You could have 5 or 6 goes at this race and miss the winner. That's how tricky it is. Barrier draws have played a big part in it. It's a very tricky start from the mile at Caulfield. But I've settled on Evaporate. He won the Sand Stakes at Sandown last start. Going into the race, really needed the run, and he made a mid-race move on it, Blake Shin, and the horse was so brave and hanging on to beat Transatlantic, who will probably run another great race, but I can't see him winning. So Evaporate's going to be the horse to beat. Seapoles, who won the Rupert Clark at Group 1 level last start, has got a great draw. Craig Williams is absolutely flying at the moment. He's won his last 2. He's probably going to be challenging for favouritism, and he'll be very hard to beat. Lazura, who's won its last 2, won the Group 2 Let's Elope last start, got that great jockey on, J-Mac from Barrier 5. It's going to be in the top 3 or 4 as well. So like I said, I've had 4 stabs at it there, and I probably missed the winner. What a race.
Yeah, I'll chuck in Willie Do It for you for multiples as well.
There's another one.
There you go. Bossy, that's us for this week. More great racing on the way. Best time of year. Look forward to next week, mate, because we'll be in person with that live show at the Woodstock. Bring your best.
Mate, I can't wait. Hopefully everyone gets out there and let's have an absolute ball.
Cheers, Bossy. Have a great week, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Hope you enjoyed that video. There's plenty more content like that on this platform. But Bossy, what do you need to do first?
Adam, like and subscribe.
It's that simple. Like and subscribe. Plenty more from Who's the Boss on the way.